What's ripening YouTube? All right, so I wanted to show you just real quick. This is a food forest that was planted in December of last year. Right now it's the beginning of August, so we're almost 8 months into to growth on this particular system. It has not been pruned, and so we're going to do that right now. But I wanted to kind of walk through it beforehand. I'll show you a little bit of the work while we're doing it, and then you'll see what it looks like afterwards. And I think it might be of some value to some of you guys. So this section is designed to operate without consistent irrigation. So we used quite a bit of wood chips in here, which the client was able to procure for little to no cost. And they just have it dumped up. There's actually a pile of it out there still that we haven't used yet. So we used a lot of wood chip mulch to begin with, but we also planted in quite a bit of supporting species among our main species, and we even broadcasted some cover crop seeds. Not all the cover crop seeds are going to germinate over mulch, but some of them did. We do have cowpea. I'll show you over here. The cowpea's kind of taken off through here, and it's kind of sprawling and scrambling. But the main thing we're going to be cutting is the tithonia. We'll be doing any banana prune that needs to happen, which it doesn't look like there's much to do there. We're going to take the cassava. We're going to pull, if we see like clumps of grass, we're going to pull those or cover them with mulch. And we're going to prune this this bean because it's going to start to climb over the main fruit trees. We are going to leave the sun hemp for a little bit longer because it hasn't started flowering yet. This will get a little taller and create a little bit more biomass. And the idea is we're going to cut this and use it to feed the trees. There'll be a new pulse of growth along the edge. The reason why we use this along the edge was to protect the edge from the grass re-impeding into the bed, which I think it's doing pretty well. It's actually pretty well canopied over. The places where we don't have it is where you have the grass starting to poke back through. So let's get to the maintenance and we'll see how it looks. All right, so my other guy's over there finishing up with the tractor. So I'm just gonna come in here and do an initial drop on some of these tithonia because they are getting fairly good size. One thing that's important when you're doing your chop and drop, if possible, is you want to have clean cuts because they'll sprout back way better. And so what I'm coming in here and doing is just cutting pretty low, probably lower than the owner would have done because they haven't done this 1,000 times. And the other thing I'm doing is organizing my material. So what I'm actually going to do, because I don't have all the hand tools with me right now, is come through and just cut everything and lay it down. And that's going to let us see in to the rest of the system and see where else we need to make adjustments. And then we can use this material at the end on top. So let's just go through and get some done. Alright, so that was pretty quick. We took out the tithonia and the cassava. And one thing I wanted to point out, if this project had been done like the whole place all in one phase, the client would have had to pay for all of this material times however much bigger the planting would have been. However, because we did it in small phases, now we have mature cassava that we've cut, and you'll see that one cassava stem, you figure you got about 1, 2, 3, 4, you got 5, maybe half a dozen new cassava plants per stem. And some of these have many stems, some of them have 3, 4, 5 stems. This is just the first section of growth, so it's going to compound over and over and over again. So now they have basically unlimited supply of tithonia and cassava to help reinvest into this system, or to take it into a new system, or to just put the material back down on the ground, let it break down, which was the main intention of using it in here in the first place. All right, so one of the gold standards for me in terms of happy bananas, there's two things that I look for. Number one is the number of leaves, and number two is whether or not the leaves are being shed while they're still green. And this is doing both. You can see it's just growing so vigorously that it's just casting off leaves that aren't even, they're not even dead. So normally I like to have, you know, a dozen leaves I'm considering to be a healthy, relatively happy banana. But if you count these ones, and I just counted them a second ago, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and there's 22 actually starting to peek out. 22 leaves on this pseudostem. This is the blue Java variety, and you can see it's also, this is its first pup, and it's made beyond the first pup. It's got another nice little pup going on there. Very happy bananas. This is because of the time of the year. It was established well. These were healthy pups, and we're right next to this big banana circle. It's full of mulch, a little bit of compost, some biochar, and letting nature take its course. All the rain gets everything wet. The roots have all kinds of places to go in this mulchy area, and it shows in the bananas. The bananas are just absolutely thriving. So that's what you're looking for. Casting off green leaves and mucho leaves. That's how you know you got a happy banana. All right, so here we have the green trimmings are all here put around the trees. In this case, it's a star fruit tree. And we're kind of keeping the main cuttings set aside. Here's a mulberry, green mulberry with all the trimmings around the outside of it. The main cuttings to the side, and what we're going to do is decide how we want to allocate these cuttings. We can either replant them within the system, or we can use them as more of a woody mulch. But again, these ones, because they root so quickly and so easily, we have to lay them on top of the other stuff so they don't root down in the ground. More than likely, we're going to plant most of the cassava cuttings. The tithonia, I don't know if we need that much, and I know we're going to have more from the other planting that we already did. But that's about what it looks like. First chop and drop within this system at about 7 months, maybe 8 months old. Trees are looking great. Bananas are looking great. And that's about it. We'll see you next time.